Yeah, there was definite uncertainty into what may happen this summer, so that was a big factor. We have a lot of cap space this summer, which the Celtics have never had, and we have a trade exception, a big trade exception, and we have draft picks, and we have a lot of good young players that are attractive to other teams. And so our perspective is always to, and our plan is always to develop through the draft, because that's what we can control, who we draft and with our draft picks, and who we sign with free agent dollars and so forth. And as far as trades, we just have to be ready to have assets to trade and stay opportunistic and make decisions with those with our assets.
No, I mean, it was just hey Rajon, thanks for everything you've done. You've left a great legacy. Be someplace 8.5 years to have that kind of, to have the outpouring of emotion that you're going to have in leaving. It says what you did, and wish you nothing but the best, and think you're going into a great situation with a great coach, great players, and sorry we have to play one more time, because certainly I don't want to play against them, but it was more just that, and thanks. And then Evan Turner will start.
Welcome to a new era of Celtics basketball, and welcome to a new era of the Garden Report. The Celtics won at 114-98. This really is a new era, and this is a new episode of the Garden Report on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog. All right, so welcome to the night version. We did a pregame version. Now we're doing a postgame version of the Garden Report. I am Jared Weiss. He's Julian Edlow. We're both from CLNS Radio. He also reps WEEI.com in his other time. But right now we are all on Rondo analysis time. So we're going to first talk about Rondo, second talk about the way that the team looked tonight.
Yep.
Let's start. We kind of talked about this a lot in our first video, but let's do it again after seeing what we saw tonight. So first off, Rondo, as far as how the team looks coming out of that trade, what are your thoughts?
Well, the team has played well without Rondo in the games that he's missed in the past season and this season. They got that win in Chicago without him. They get a big win tonight without him. Now he's actually really gone and he's not coming back. But they've had kind of a reputation for playing well when Rondo hasn't been on the floor since he's come back from that ACL injury. And, they kept it rolling tonight. So, the argument has been made that, Rondo makes a good team great. But when you put him on an average team, he doesn't make this team all that much better. So this team arguably isn't that much different without Rondo.
The funny thing is they still were able to get on the fast break. They had the fast break advantage tonight. They had 29 assists tonight. Numbers-wise, there wasn't a massive difference without Rondo. Clearly, the way the offense is moving, it looks a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the numbers aren't going to be that much different. The big difference is kind of watching Rondo. He does things in a different way than anyone else in the league. So, it's going to be more fun to watch. It's going to look a different way when Rajon Rondo is running your offense. But like I said, when on an average team like the Celtics, you almost get the same results with or without Rondo. They just look different. When you talk about, sorry, Jared, when you talk about a team like Dallas, now you plug Rondo in and he's going to enhance all these different things. But on a team like the Celtics, he's not able to do that.
And the thing is, so losing Rondo, it's not an addition by subtraction, but the whole concept here that Brad Stevens is pushing, Danny Ainge is pushing, that anybody with any sort of optimism in their life is pushing, is that the Celtics will collectively step up their game to fill the vacuum that is caused by Rondo. Mm-hmm. So you think this team is capable of doing that?
I mean,
but also, first off, acknowledging that they just did it. Right before you filmed
They did just do it. So, yeah. I mean, they're 1 for 1 on that point. So, I mean, Rondo's been here, but, I mean, this team has won, 6 of their last 9 games. As of right now, they're in sole possession of the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. They're a playoff team
So
today.
They traded Rondo and became a playoff team. They traded Rondo
literally
immediately.
Became a playoff team within 24 hours.
Can't make that stuff up.
Can't make that stuff up. People think that they're going to tank right down now that Rondo is gone. Oh, this is a move for this year to get a lower pick. They're going to be a similar team, and, they're going to be battling for that 8th seed. That's exactly what some of the new guys said tonight. We'll get to them later, but that they were looking at the standings on the way here, and they're like, wow, this team is right in the thick of things, and we think we can help them out.
So what did they do as a backcourt and as an offensive system to make up for it? I know I asked before Brad Stevens before the game about it. He said that the system itself isn't going to change, but the type of actions they're running, the type of matchups they have are probably going to change. Now, while that may be true, they're not going to be able. A lot of the plays they run are based off of Rondo's just uncanny vision, his ability to slip passes that basically no one else in the league can do. Marcus Smart is definitely solid. He's a good passer. We saw him make a few really nice passes tonight. He's going to be a good hockey assist guy, but he's not going to be able to run. He's not going to be able to sit back and run the offense in the same way. So they're going to rely on sets a lot more than they did in the past, and they're going to. I mean, he's saying that they're going to have to fast break more, but they already had the highest pace in the league.
Yeah.
And this is a league where you had Dallas, for instance, Golden State, a lot of teams that can run like crazy.
Yeah.
So they can't really push the pace any harder than they already were, unless they decide to just never try to get defensive rebounds again and just put all 5 guys basically in the front court every time a shot goes
Bold.
up. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be kind of same results, different look without Rondo again. So, I mean, the backcourt's going to be a big mystery because we know what the ultimate goal is. The ultimate goal is to get Marcus Smart healthy and develop him as the point guard of the future. But until we get there, you know, we saw Evan Turner start tonight at the point guard. You might see Jameer Nelson get some starts at the point guard. Phil Pressey has gotten starts in the past with Nelson here. I don't know if he'll get those anymore. These are things, you know, to be seen. But the question that I think, or the point that Brad Stevens needs to get to is how is he going to develop Marcus Smart into his starting point guard? That, I think, is the main focus of the guard rotation. So we'll see how that develops.
Okay, so the guys that came in here. You have Brandon Wright, maybe a starter on this team, but the way that Tyler Zeller's playing and Sullinger's been pretty solid this year, and now Olynyk is on fire.
Yeah, you put Olynyk on the bench. And
You're probably not going to see him starting. There's a good chance you might see him traded away. Jameer Nelson, same exact situation. Maybe he'll start because Marcus Smart's not ready, because Phil Pressey is probably not capable of being a starting point guard at this point of his career, but he also is a guy that might get traded away. And now I kind of feel ridiculous just going through this over and over and over again.
I mean, all three are the same story,
it's the same
essentially.
exact story.
They're here to, you get a free look at them. You can trade them away. Wright and Crowder both expire at the end of the year. So, I mean, who knows what these 3 players are going to turn into. What I will say is Wright is one of the most efficient players in the NBA in his, 18 to 20 minutes in Dallas. He shoots the ball 74% from the field. That's ridiculous.
It's high.
It's high.
Rondo wishes he could shoot free throws.
To put it one way, Rondo wishes he could shoot free throws anywhere near
as good as Dwight Howard can, yeah.
But, I mean, anyway, these players are, who knows what they're going to be. Wright, I don't think we see him start because, Stevens was talking about tonight how he had all 4 big men going so well, and he was having trouble picking between those 4 which 2 to put on the court. Now you throw a guy that shoots 74% in there. You have 5 big guys with only 2 of them can play at once. So we'll see how that develops. Maybe Wright keeps playing well here. Maybe he gets traded at the trade deadline. It's really a mystery at the moment.
I think a lot of the league is looking at this trade and are going, wait, I can get Jay Crowder and I can get Brendan Wright to help me win the title. I'll do that. And there's going to be a lot of teams looking to make a deal come February.
Wright specifically is a guy that, because he's expiring and because he's been so good in Dallas, if he can be good in Boston, maybe they can turn him into something at the deadline, and then you look at the Rondo trade and say, hey, if they get another late first for Wright, you go, all right, well, now we have 2 late firsts for Rondo. Does that make it look a little better?
Plus, they got that exception. That's a big exception.
And
They've got a good amount of exception money sitting on their plate right now.
As Danny Ainge made clear, you have no idea what's around the corner. You don't know what's going to happen, but they do have that exception to make something happen if it does. And the last thought on the new players is Jameer Nelson probably is a good guy to have Marcus Smart kind of learn under, develop under, even if Nelson does get some starts and Smart comes off the bench behind him. I think kind of, behind the scenes at practice, that's a good guy to learn from.
Yeah, and Nelson's a pretty fun guy. He's a very high character guy.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes that you're about to hear once we're done with this segment were pretty hilarious. So
He
we'll
was a
play
funny
those
guy.
for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So at least us for reporters are going to get someone that'll be more exciting to deal with than Rondo in the post-game press conferences. Yeah.
Some personalities.
Now, quickly before we go, before I even do the promos, I'm really upset about Dwight Powell leaving. I think it was the last episode. I pretty much ended the show saying I want to see more Dwight Powell. I'm not, at least in a Celtics uniform, going to get to see that. But I really like his skill set, and I really think he has a shot at making a rotation somewhere in the league over the next few years.
I wouldn't say no to that. He's a
Okay.
good player.
Well, good. I like
You
that.
recently dubbed him the next Wilt Chamberlain.
I mean, I think he's better than Will Chamberlain at this point, honestly. Will Chamberlain wasn't a rookie with a 34.3 PER. Exactly.
I mean, he's got a similar efficiency rating to Brandon Wright, actually.
Oh, that's really?
Maybe he could develop into a Brandon Wright type player.
Maybe Brandon
That's
Wright
more
can
realistic
develop
than
into Will
Chamberlain.
Chamberlain. No, I think that would be a pretty good one. And they had, whatever, let's not get into this. Let's get out of here. First, promo stuff. Listen to Celtics Beat. Right now we have the Sean Grandy episode, which was a fantastic interview. And then I'll be interviewing Kelly Dwyer of Yahoo Sports and Tim McMahon of ESPN Dallas tomorrow. We'll have that episode for you on Sunday. That's going to be a really great episode. We're just going to talk about Rondo just nonstop. That'll be a lot of fun. Julian will be sitting there listening with his cashmere vest on. That thing is so
Vest?
soft. It's
Where
crazy.
do you see a vest
I'm sorry,
on?
not vest. Sweater with the zip up, whatever. I don't even know what they call
Pullover?
these things. Pullover, I guess so. That's good enough. But listen to us on iTunes. You can download the podcast version of the show, download the CLNS Radio post-game show on iTunes, and don't forget to like us on Facebook. Search Garden Report Celtics. We'll be right back with part 2, but we'll actually get into this game.
When he told me he was friends with Stan Van Gundy, I knew I was going to watch film right away. But no, he's a great coach. I've watched him for years. He actually coached a guy I knew, Mike Green, while he was in college. So I heard a lot of great things about him. My college coach, Phil Martelli, he's told me a lot of great things about him. So, you kind of, watch guys from afar. You kind of know what to expect. I've never worn green at any level of basketball, but I think it complements my skin tone, though.